We're demonetized on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Badge of honor.
Badge of honor that we get instantly.
Badge of honor.
I just posted a video that you and I made that I'm going to share later on the show where we infiltrated a Stop Project 2025 rally, instantly got flagged, and was demonetized. And it says when they send you the notification, it says, this process is part automated and we have humans. So it's part automated, part human. I'm like, I don't think you have a human. Yeah. I don't think you have a human looking at this. I don't know what their AI triggers or their words are.
They have a transbot. It's a transbot that looks at things.
And
right?
The transbot is very astute at determining when people are pretending to be something that they're not.
This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, gender. Not real fake white guy for Harris. Or is fake white guy.
Must censor. Must censor.
And it's just rock hard with the lady penis. Yeah.
Yep.
They do make bots probably with that in mind. With the trans, at least according to the media anyway, mentality. Because real trans people aren't necessarily the way the media portrays them. What's up, Stoner? Good to see you. All right, let's dive in.
That's true.
Censorship rising, Melania's new ad. And as I said, Ian and I infiltrated a Stop Project 2025 rally. I'm going to show you the footage from that, which was interesting, insightful, and a lot of fun.
People. Very
nice people, misguided. We were nice to them, but if they see this video, they're not going to like us as much as they did that day.
But thankfully, YouTube will never serve this video up to them.
They will never, ever see this video.
No.
Absolutely not. Or the comments people are making about it on X. The only place that isn't going to censor it, I'm guessing. So let's start real quick with what everybody's been saying. Thank you, Stoner. I appreciate that. Says that Shiat was hilarious. It was certainly fun to do. We had a great time.
It was. I'd love to do that every day of the week if we could.
There's some upcoming events over the next 33 days that we can pen to go to that I think that we should go to. It's going to be cool. So, let me see the comment real quick. Stoner says, I thought the first video was live. That's why I comment. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, I usually just do the live ones, but I just uploaded that one straight to it. So, Melania released an ad today that CNN has been talking about and MSNBC, very perplexed, speaking about. Have you seen this ad, Ian?
She is stunning.
She is. She's gorgeous.
Just stunning.
That's why every time Trump is on the show with us, I ask him, if something happens to you, can I take a shot at Melania? She talks like this. She said, like you said, Donald. You're doing okay.
Walks around in a fur coat with nothing underneath.
Never worn anything underneath her
heels,
coat.
Right, and calls him the Donald. Hello, the Donald.
Hello,
the Donald.
She doesn't cook dinner. She wears nothing but high heels.
She'll microwave some dinner for him.
Would you like some microwave stuffers, Donald?
I worked so hard.
It's been so hard walking around in these high heels all day. Yes, trad wife material for sure. So even in this video, you can see it looks like she's wearing a sport coat and nothing on underneath it.
Yeah.
And it's in black and white, very dramatic. And I'll let you see the ad, and then we'll talk about the response to the ad. Now, this is Forbes commentary. Former First Lady Melania voices support for abortion rights. That's how they interpreted the ad. We'll see how you interpret it.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
And then it shows her book. And it says, order now, MelaniaTrump.com.
Individual freedom.
Quick ad that sparked a lot of discussion. Now, CNN was talking, very confused. What is this going against Trump and abortion? Because we have to remember, which we'll see from some of the people we spoke with, that the premise is that Trump is going to implement a federal abortion ban, which he has said that he's not going to do.
Correct.
And that she is in conflict with that. Stepping back from all of the commentary, she never said what she means by what individual rights are, but what my body, my choice is.
Well, she said a phrase that I don't think any liberals or progressives understand what the phrase individual liberty means. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't she say individual liberty?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So they're just like, oh, yeah. That's like a word they can't pronounce that they just keep reading over and they never learn how to pronounce it. Right? They don't understand the concept of individual liberty and how that might be, influence the way she might vote when she says, my body, my choice.
Right.
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 And it's like for a side that claims to have, be so creative and have all the arts, it's like you have no ability to comprehend poetry, do you?
No, they're the worst poets.
Worst poets. But you know what I'm saying? She's making a double meaning out of this.
Exactly. For all we know, when she says my body, my choice in this, she is trolling about the vax. Because that's another way that term was used. Although there is a quote, allegedly, that she says in the book that does refer to abortion and women should have control over abortion, that does make it seem like she is leaning more left on that, but not even all the way. And this comes from The Guardian, I believe. Bottom line is that this was vague enough to be a fantastic ad for a book that's going to be effective, that perplexed
all the free press she just
perplexed the media. And they're sitting there going, is this 5D chess? Is she coming into conflict with Trump? And Trump went on Fox News and Trump said, I told her you need to write what you feel. Write whatever you believe. And Trump was also vague. I mean, these are two brilliant marketers playing the media like a fiddle, and it's working, and it's going to jack up the book sales.
They're so stupid.
They're totally stupid.
They're so stupid.
What's up, Force Mommy? She says hi to Brad and Ian.
Hey.
I don't know what Melania is going to say in the book, but is it wrong if she does have a different opinion than Trump on this? And this is what the media was running around in circles talking about today.
Right.
Does this undermine Trump, or how does it
here's what's undermining. I saw some other news. You saw that Doug Emhoff now slapped someone in a valet line, a girl he was dating, just hauled off and slapped her. You saw that?
Well, she probably was a bigot. She probably deserved it.
No, that was someone. He was someone he was dating, right?
Right. He probably found out that
So between that and stooping the nanny in his last marriage, right?
Right.
This is a guy who potentially could start abusing the president of the United States if Kamala wins. And we can't have that. Can you imagine?
She's meeting with Putin. Dude, she's got a black eye.
Every press conference, she's got big sunglasses on. And the news is like, the president fell down the stairs again this week.
And Doug Emhoff is always like 5 feet from her going, fucking. Yeah, you do it.
You call me the president.
Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah,
he's obviously a disingenuous person in a politically arranged marriage, and it's funny how they don't cover. Of course, they deny. We should say they're denying this.
So yeah, if they're worried about which marriage is a threat to national security, I'm sure it's the one where the president could get beaten up for not doing the dishes.
And America would earn the respect of everybody around the world.
Yeah.
Force Mommy says it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so it's perfect for that.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, you're an advocate for that.
Every month I pick a cause.
Yeah. So years and years ago, quick aside, my brother played for the baseball team, the Durham Bulls, in the minor leagues. He's a good bit older than me. This was back when they were a Braves affiliate. They were a single-A Braves team. The movie Bull Durham is what that team, it was based off of that team. And they had a fight against the other team one night. I wasn't at the game, but this was a 35-minute long fight where charges ended up getting pressed because people were getting stomped with cleats, and it's like in the all-time top 5 of the worst baseball fights.
Outtakes of this fight.
All
I'm
over
not a
Sports
fan of
Illustrated.
baseball, but I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
spread
yeah.
in Sports Illustrated. Everybody's in the picture. Everybody's whooping each other's ass. My brother's standing on the mound with his hat turned backwards, and you see Binkley, and he's not doing shit. He's just standing there. And so that fight happened on Domestic Violence Awareness Night at the baseball game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's a great movie, Stoner. It's one of my favorites. So I don't know what Melania's belief is, but I don't think it's a bad thing to promote being able to be married to someone and have disagreements with each other. In fact, I think that would actually enhance the position that I'm not going to rip your womb out and try to control it if I'm elected president. Bottom line, though, it's marketing. It's brilliant marketing. What's up, Wild Bill?
Yeah, I mean, also, I don't think the pro-life has done a good job of saying that it's the pro-choice side that's moved the goalpost. They're the ones that have taken it from safe, legal, and rare to let's and watch botched abortions die on a table.
Right.
Let's point fingers at it and laugh while it gasps for air. That's what I
Right. Well,
imagine they do.
it is Halloween month, so
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people are going to still continue to say that he is going to implement a federal abortion ban, but that's the main talking point of the people that we spoke with. And CNN also talked about how they requested an interview with Melania to speak about her book and her position on this. And her publisher asked for $250,000, and they were shocked by that. They said this doesn't happen when you're asked to speak with a politician's wife, somebody who's running for office. And I'm saying, what about how you?
What
go
if
ahead.
it was Michelle? No, what if it was Michelle? They'd be like, they would of course.
They would
give
pay
Michelle
it in a
Obama
second.
the money.
They would pay it in a second. They'd say he is not running.
They'd say
for
she's
president,
not running for office,
and neither is his husband.
right?
And they mistreat. Well, I don't know about mistreated. I don't want to use that terminology, but Anderson Cooper, the last time Melania did an interview with CNN, he treated her like shit. Why would she not try and charge them a bunch of money? I would love, as much as I'd love to see her in nothing but high heels and a long sport coat on CNN. I wouldn't do it if I were her. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this video you and I did. Some of you guys watching saw it already, but I'm going to play it because it's relevant to what we're about to talk about afterwards, which is censorship rising. Because you see a form of censorship in this video simply by the mentality that's created. Because normalizing censorship is how you get censorship. People don't realize they're calling for censorship.
It's when they make you think you're doing something good.
Yes. And like, what's his name? Wall said during the debate the other day about hate speech and misinformation.
Yeah, I'm talking about hate speech.
Should be spy. Yes, exactly. He's such a creep, man. So this is Ian and I infiltrating a White Dudes for Harris sign holding rally in Atlanta. Screen here, which is a lot of fun. Here we go.
This is Fulton Democrat sponsored, and this is the Stop Project 2025 rally.
What's the worst part of Project 2025?
All of it.
Every single effing page. What's the worst part of Project 2025?
All of it. The whole thing. Every single word.
What do you fear most about Project 2025?
The fact that he denies it, and he's a liar. He lies about the brand of diaper he wears.
We were told that you could tell us all the worst parts of Project 2025. You're the most knowledgeable of them.
Worst parts? Well, they want to
This
eliminate
guy.
the Department of
Can you
Education.
imagine how terrible he is at restaurants?
Awful.
Getting rid of the Department of Education.
The eliminations of our government, of the federal bureaucracy.
The Department of Education.
Absolutely.
Pausing it there.
Yeah.
The Department of Education is awful. It's how they're
Dude.
brainwashing children into being
Yeah.
stupid. But you notice how they all say the same things.
Same fucking things. They've memorized the talk points without even realizing they've all memorized them. That's what it feels like.
These people they were on different corners of the street. They didn't hear each other.
Yeah.
Yet they're all saying the same things.
And again, to be fair, well, they were nice to us because they thought we were one of them.
And they thought we were gay guys.
They thought we were a couple of gay guys, which was not the plan. We just slowly morphed into a couple. I think it's true. As if we got comfortable. We didn't plan that. We just kind of morphed into this couple thing. Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
We're crossing right here. Don't hit us, racist. Don't hit us, racist. Harris Waltz. Harris Waltz. Harris Waltz.
Are you with the white dudes?
Yeah.
He was there?
He was on the white dudes for Harris call.
She was a sweetie.
He said, I'm a dude, I'm white, and I'm for Harris.
Yeah, we were both on the call.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was like so inspiring to see so many white men together.
Yeah.
What do you oppose the most about Project 2025?
I'm terrified of Christian nationalism.
What's the scariest thing about white Christian nationalism for you?
Because it will, number one, I mean, it's terrible.
But you notice how I said it's so inspiring to see a bunch of white dudes like men together.
Yeah.
It's the most racist thing ever. And then
know.
you asked her what scares her most about the white Christian nationalism.
What's the scariest thing about white Christian nationalism for you?
Because it will, number one, I mean, it's terribly racist.
What's up, man? Who you voting for? Wow, that's a racist black guy.
It's the one black guy we
Stop
saw.
Project 2025. No more Ben Carson. Why does America need to know we're not going back?
I think we need to know we're not going back for our future.
We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not
Ian
going
and I
back.
had the most energy of anybody at this thing.
We
He's
got him
literally going
pumped
to
up on
dismantle
every
the whole
little
entire
island.
government
Yeah,
and the
we brought it.
Constitution.
On day one.
Okay, so this was the leader, and Ian's right. We had to go to the island because they were tired. They were
Yeah,
boomers.
and
as
we
Force
brought
One
it. We brought the
21.
energy up every time
We did.
went. It
We
was
pumped
so
everybody
fun.
up with our gay
It was
asses.
just like, because I mean, you can't help it. We've done so many live shows and get crowds
I
warmed
know.
up.
It's like,
You're
come on, guys.
let's have
We're fighting.
fun.
We're fighting to save democracy,
Fuck
people.
Project 25.
It's
2025.
evil, you know, and we pumped up. So this was the leader who said his name was
He
James
was terrible.
Brown.
He was terrible. He doesn't know how to lead any chance.
No, you're right.
He's terrible.
He was going, when I say liberty, you say freedom. When I say liberty, you say freedom. But he never stopped saying
He never
that.
just went liberty. He never
Freedom.
gave anyone a chance to do call and response.
Right, everybody kept like waiting for him to do it, but he kept saying, when I
and
say
then
liberty,
he'd get mad. Come on, people.
I know.
He's literally going to dismantle the whole entire government and the Constitution.
On day one.
On day one, he's going to be a dictator.
My daughter is just had a baby by IVF. They're going to knock that out.
I was an IVF baby. Somebody rolled down their window at the stoplight and they yelled out communist fag to me. It's unbelievable.
You know, make America nice again.
I said Trump's the fag is what I said.
Yes.
I firmly
I
believe
just love
that
how she like instantly God said make America nice, like Trump's a faggot. She's like, yeah, he is.
if Donald Trump is elected, he will step down and we will end up with J.D. Vance.
All of our enemies will be enticing him with couches. Thank you, sir. We're not going back. So thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, we're not going back.
No, we're not.
Not going back.
We're not going back.
No, we're not going back. We're not going back.
In fact,
Thank
we're
you.
going across.
We're going across. We're going across. We're going across. We're going
Even a few of them started chanting.
She was awesome. She was my
was
favorite
great.
one. I really liked her. She's the only one I felt bad about duping.
I did. She was very
She
sweet.
was so
lady.
cool.
This time next year, if Trump gets in, we won't be here. We will not be here.
I'll go to Venezuela.
I'm looking.
He'll round people like me up.
I have a folder of places to go to.
You're gonna have to send that to me, girl.
Yeah.
So when Kamala came aboard, I was fortunate enough
This
to be
is
at her
great.
rally.
Did you meet her?
So
This
I got to
woman
shake her hand.
sounds
Wow.
I will
like
never
she makes
ever forget
talk-
that
she makes
I
moment.
like-
wouldn't.
She makes it sound like talking is such a difficult thing.
Yeah, you're right.
She really,
Yeah.
it's really hard to listen. It was hard to listen to her.
Yeah, it took her. She was very inspired by Kamala,
Yeah.
and I love that you got her to show which hand it was.
Oh yeah.
Didn't
Which
watch
hand
that
was it?
hand personally.
Which hand was it?
It was the joy and the
Fused with superpowers.
Waltz. Harris Waltz.
This was the official picture they were taking.
Harris Waltz.
That's why I'm glad Doug Emhoff.
So I wasn't gonna go into that picture, but Ian was kind of like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I should."
Yeah, man.
And
now we're
st-
in that photo.
That photo's somewhere. I don't know where.
somewhere in Democrat propaganda land.
That's going around.
Gay Brad is out there.
Yep, and I was trying to be as gay as possible dancing.
Yeah.
So Stoner says that folder though. So she actually asked for my email address so she could email it to me. She really has a folder of like the government's gonna round that lady up. I know. Come here, you old bitch! And like Trump's gonna go get her. Give me your drums.
That's why I'm glad Doug Emhoff is by Kamala's side.
Yes.
Do you think he's as cute as I do?
I think he's adorable.
He is so adorable.
I just love their relationship.
They're so much fun. It's like relationship goals.
Yeah.
You must be, like I am, a huge fan of Doug Emhoff.
Yeah, yeah.
You think he's as cute as I do?
Probably not, but
I think he's just adorable.
I think he is adorable.
Freedom! Freedom! Abortion! Liberty! Woo! Some of these conservatives are evil, but they're hot, and if I can turn them...
This is great.
Oh, boy.
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop
boy.
it, Brad.
Get me a convert.
And you've got a photographer, so hey, it would be documented.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. I'll offer him a thruple.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to America.
I couldn't believe that old lady knew what thruple meant.
Well, I think what I love is, I don't know if they do. I think they get tunnel vision when they're being interviewed with the mic, and they're just nodding their head along. You could say just about anything. You could have said the Holocaust was fake, and they would have been like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like-
Kind of like you could say, I said fag to many of them and retard, which I didn't put in the cut.
I think it just washed right over them.
Yeah. And
They were,
this woman here did kind of catch herself, although I don't know why she disagreed with my solution here. I think it's this part.
They have the right to say what I do with my body. And when the woman is raped, do they go make the men that did it have vasectomies? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
It's ridiculous.
Cut their dicks off.
Well, I don't know about doing that.
Did you hear Kinzinger describe the odor?
He's a Republican, right? He used to be.
He describes the odor that pervades around.
Oh, gross. What did he say about the odor?
Just said,
Speaking of
everything
flag,
you can imagine.
Smells like racism. When I see a cute guy, I say, your body, my choice, bro. Who are you voting for? You're not voting for who?
I'm not voting for a communist terrorist.
Who's the communist terrorist running?
Harris. Kamala Harris.
Oh, come on, sir.
Yeah,
He's Red
man.
Project 2025.
I wish there was a way on these
So right there, I think it was the woman driving and the guy. One was trying to roll the window up and the other was rolling it down.
Yeah, that's so
Trying
funny.
to talk to him.
I wish there was a way on these advertisements where you can't put in things that aren't lies for both parties.
But they only need to tell the truth, and the non-truths need to be silenced.
Exactly, I agree.
This will take us to real life, The Handmaid's Tale. It is absolutely the complete submission of women, complete oppression of women.
It might as well be called Get in the Kitchen, ladies. Like your scooter. Like your scooter.
Okay.
I think they need to look at their facts because it's not. We're in the middle of COVID. He's tell people to ingest bleach.
Yeah, I did. I have a friend who did that and died.
Oh, Harris Walls.
Harris Walls. I love Coach Tim.
I love Coach Walls.
He's America's dad. If Kamala gets elected, she needs to name you the czar of rock and roll.
Definitely. I'm here. Kamala, come get me. I'm in Atlanta, GA.
I would love to see you at the inauguration.
I'll be there with drums on. Look
at that medical drive-through. Under a Trump administration, I wouldn't even be able to go get an abortion
No, I bet you can't get your dick cut off there.
and have it donated
Yeah.
in the dick bucket.
Donate your white dick.
Yep. A lot of people taking the black dicks, as you pointed out, from the dick bucket, and white dicks are going to be left over, I think, when they're doing the transition surgeries.
Nothing but white dicks left over.
Is there anything else in here?
Shit.
Come on, guys.
It's just nothing but little white dicks everywhere.
So, yeah, Stoner, every one of these I've done, I've just noticed an increase in scooters. So I always like to tell people I enjoy their scooters when we pass them.
Yeah.
So that one lady said, when I said they should just silence anybody who has the wrong or false information, and she agreed with that.
Mm-hmm.
And this we did this before the debate. But Walls, when he was saying that misinformation and hate speech is not protected by free speech, which has been the subject of the news lately, echoes that sentiment. And that is a sentiment that has been spread around for a while now, to the point where we can see that people will embrace it when they think that doing so will support their side. So censor people if what they believe to be true is being, undermined.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, but Democrats do a good job of making it sound like, look, we're going to help protect you. The Constitution gives us the power to protect you from people abusing these things. And that's what they've done a good job, duping their side into believing that's what their side believes the relationship is between the government and the Constitution. They don't understand that these are the limits that they were placing on the government. This tells the government this gives us the power to tell the government, no, you can't do this, right? This is the piece of paper. It says you cannot do these things. They don't understand that. They don't get that relationship.
Right.
And I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so afraid. There's another really quick point. The fact that they're so adamant that speech should be controlled tells you, right? And their fear that uncontrolled speech will lead to thoughts that are just wrong thoughts, right? That tells you what they believe speech should be used for. That tells you right there. That gives the game up, right?
Right. And they're taught this stuff in a way where they don't realize that they're violating free speech. That they think they're still pro free speech.
Right. Right. Because they're putting brackets around what free speech is. It's amazing to me that Democrats will always take, if you say, well, it says right here in the Constitution, I can do X. They'll go, well, case law actually says this. They act like the Constitution is this highly complicated thing for the everyday person to understand. I believe that constitutional law exists just so the government can find ways to circumvent it. That's why they're so happy to have constitutional law experts in their ranks.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you none of those people we spoke with have studied the Constitution or case precedents or statutory law. Constitutional law class is a difficult class because of the number of cases that exist and the precedents that exist. And
we've complicated a very simple thing.
Right, exactly. And the prongs that exist where they can find a way to exempt things they don't want said. Ian saying the quiet part out loud, says Stoner. Yeah, it's kind of like tax law. Make it super complicated so those who know how to get around it can get around it. And the rest of us are kind of overwhelmed. And we don't know, and they can just hire the right person to use those laws and statutes against us.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you see it in all those, we all go to those cop, the cop audit rabbit holes. You see it all the time.
The cop what rabbit holes?
It's a very audit, cop audit rabbit holes where people are auditing cops for freedom of speech stuff, for First Amendment violations, right? You see it all the time. That's just a great way of it shows you what the average person's relationship is to these concepts.
Right. And a lot of police officers aren't really up on the concepts either.
No,
so
well, and they're trained to also, again, to be fair to them, these guys are trained they're trained in such a way that a gullible or a naive person going into that career would truly think, no, this is what it means. I'm allowed to do this. That's constitutional, even when it isn't. Because they're trained with these shortcuts. They're trained. Of course, I mean
they're not trained in law school.
Yeah, they're trained on how to violate rights and get away with it.
And that's interesting that you can be trained that way because you don't have to have a legal education to be a police officer, yet you are enforcing laws that you have not been trained to understand how to enforce.
Yeah. I mean, shouldn't be instead of fighting about the 10 Commandments being in schools, why don't we put the Bill of Rights up there if through every grade? Wouldn't that be? I wonder why we don't have that in every classroom.
Well, because we have news literacy, making kids stupid
Yeah.
in classrooms. And talking about this very thing, so this normalization of censorship without even realizing it, which happens before every single election. It amps up anyway before elections, and it continues after elections, and the lasting impact of it is, it sticks. And then sometimes it softens a little bit, but then it picks back up a little bit more, and it just over time transforms what free speech is. And, when it comes down to it, like we're talking about, you're free to say things that do not undermine the main narrative only if you're not big enough to influence a large amount of people. Even if you're not, you still have some limits on it, but we see once people get bigger, they're canary in the coal mines, and they get silenced, and suddenly that topic is part of an algorithm,
That's
and
right.
your videos
That's right.
are knocked offline. Yeah. So Stoner says...
So we don't want to get too big.
No.
We don't want to get too big.
Right in our
we want to be the
wheelhouse right
porridge
here.
Goldilocks 8.
Yeah,
what
that's
we wanna
exactly
be.
right. Yeah, of course. That's a great way to put it. Make us the porridge Goldilocks 8.
Yeah.
Stoner says it's so frustrating. That's why I think y'all and Terminator Mommy, a.k.a. Force Mommy, and others are so cool because my blood pressure would go through the fucking roof going to rallies like this or a government meeting. Dude, it's maddening going to some of these things. What are the comments? Somebody shared the video and they said, and you wonder why we burned witches at the stake. Because I think the commenting on the groupthink, just believing whatever they're told and going along to get along.
We have to remember, though, even though I vehemently disagree with every single person there, they are also an American. They're also a human, you know? And I'm going to always remember that when I'm engaging with them.
Yeah, I liked most of those people. If they like I said, they wouldn't
That's
like
right.
us if they saw this, but we were not mean to them. I don't know how they would be to us if they found
I mean, I'm
out
going to
the
give
truth.
you shit back if you start giving it to
Of
me.
course.
Don't get me wrong.
Most of the people we hang out with when we'd go do something don't
Yeah.
agree with us. So
That's right.
It's
vast majority of my friends in my social network.
they think we're radical.
They think I'm a fucking
They think we're off the deep end. Yeah, craziest people. We're the craziest right-wing radicals that most of our friends know, and we're like, dude, we're not even right wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this stuff comes from the top. This is the effort to brainwash people into thinking that certain speech is hate speech and should be censored, and the ways to do it is an organized effort. That's why we had people saying this to us or agreeing to this idea on camera before Tim Walz came out and said it, before Hillary Clinton the other day was talking about how some social media post might need to come with a prison sentence. I don't know if you heard her saying that the other day. They've been doing this for a long time. They do it at these think tanks.
Tipper Gore started this. I mean, this is why I hated liberals since I was a teenager. You know, as soon as the PMRC became a thing, and I found out who Tipper Gore was, and I was like, why is this bitch putting,
Is that Al Gore's wife?
That was Al Gore's wife, and she's the one who led the charge for labeling, games and movies and albums and whatnot. She's the one who did that.
Really? So the R ratings and stuff like that?
Not the R ratings, that the MPA. I'm talking about the explicit ratings that you find on albums.
Okay.
Which actually, Death Row Records actually created that logo.
Okay.
Right. So
Right.
but that logo that is because of the PRMC, Parents Resource Music Council, Parents Music Resource Council, whatever. But it was Tipper Gore led this, and they had you should check them out. There's all these hearings where you've got John Denver talking to Congress. You've got
right.
All these amazing musicians talking to Congress.
P. Diddy probably.
Yeah, P. Diddy was like, hey, instead of banning music, let's fuck kids.
Tipper Gore's like, all right, we'll take it under consideration.
Okay, but yeah, so it's I just think it's interesting, that my relationship or my perception of Democrats is not the Berkeley liberal.
Yeah.
It is someone who is a busybody and thinks that you shouldn't say certain things. And I mean, I really didn't. I got just as annoyed as I did with the satanic scare, because I was a kid trying to listen to music during all that time period, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was that big satanic scare, and that was on the
what was the
evangelical
satanic
right.
scare?
Oh, every record that so many
It's demonic.
Yeah, different records are demonic. I mean, there are certain things that I'm sure people are like. If you take a Dio album, Dio, the band Dio, metal band. No, okay. Well, Dio is a classic metal band. If you take their logo and turn it sideways, it says devil.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, and you listen to it reversed, and it's Satan talking to you, stuff like that.
Yeah, something like I think another one, Bites the Dust. If you play that backwards, it says it's fun to smoke marijuana or something like that. But it's all
that's
bullshit.
interesting. It's you'd have to somebody if you're going to do that, you would have to know exactly the right words to tell people to sing.
Well, and it's funny that these panics would go around before we even had the internet. People were stupid as shit. So all it's done, I mean, we're no more or less stupid. It's just the same. It's just we're compounding it with new things to be stupid about.
That is interesting about the internet, because you get smarter.
Well, yeah,
but you have it makes us smarter in a lot of ways, but it makes us dumber in a lot of ways as well, and more controllable.
Holy Diver.
I know Holy Diver.
That's a great album.
You infidel is what Stoner, I believe, was calling me, because I didn't know what it was. All right, so this is from the Brookings Institute. This is from a panel discussion. I played one clip from this the other day, but I wanted to play some more of the clips because they're talking about this very subject that Tim Walz is pushing hardcore, and Kamala definitely, and what they want. They don't want you to talk. They want you to be stupid, and they want you to, in fact, promote silencing anything that you disagree with or that you or your group identifies as false. And that's really the key, is this false information or misinformation is not protected by the First Amendment. Who gets to determine what is misinformation? We all know who gets to determine that. We all know that they lie. Because we heard the COVID, the same person that I spoke to who agreed that misinformation should be silenced, the false information, people shouldn't be able to hear it, also brought up Trump told people to take bleach.
Yeah.
Which he never did.
Yeah, and by that, she should be in jail for spreading this.
Arrest her right now.
Arrest her right now.
Yeah. All right, so here's the first clip. I don't have my clip list, but this whole panel discussion is related to protecting Americans from misinformation leading up to the election. And the woman who wrote the book that they're referring to, she is a former Clinton administration official. She has shaped the DNC. She is an influential figure. Here.
Her question is, how do you determine credible and trusted messengers for populations that distrust science, academics, government officials? She didn't say, Elaine, people like you and I, but I will add that.
She includes that, for sure.
How do we determine who to trust?
Well, that has been a huge problem. And of course, we saw it most clearly during COVID. Okay? All of the stuff about the COVID vaccines and what to do to protect yourself and protect others was hit with a flood of disinformation. And what they discovered and by the way, at the beginning of COVID, the African American community was very resistant to vaccines, taking vaccines, and it had a lot of concern
masks.
And because they tended to be
Rightfully.
in frontline jobs,
Because they've been lied
that
to.
couldn't be done from the safety of your home. A lot of African Americans were getting and dying from COVID. So a lot of concern about this.
And they called you racist if you brought up Tuskegee and what was done to black men there.
Yeah.
And you pointed out how the Ad Council, which was formerly called the War Advertising Council, created by the government to get support for the war back in the 40s, and then they just said, keep doing your work, we'll call you the Ad Council, and it continues to work today, was the one promoting get the shot black people, white people who tell you otherwise are racist, and they were using black spokespeople to lie to black people the same way they did to get black people to continue participating in the Tuskegee experiment and prevent them from finding out that they actually had syphilis, which is what they did.
Yeah.
For 40 years, they used black people, black doctors, a black nurse to prevent their black subjects from finding out they had syphilis because the Johns Hopkins doctors wanted to see what their ravaged corpse looked like after 40 years of having syphilis. But if you point that out during the pandemic and that the same tactic is being used, you are creating vaccine hesitation and you're a racist white nationalist. And so this is what she's talking about without mentioning all those details I brought up.
Right, right.
The community did is they started to move to trusted purveyors of information.
Yep, the black nurse.
So local leaders, preachers at the local church, people, local assemblymen, or very close to the people, politicians, not the president or somebody else, but people like that. And in fact, over time, this worked. All right. And over time, the proportion of the African community getting vaccinated did, in fact, equal the proportion of the white community, and many lives were saved.
She's so afraid to say black. She's got to dance.
Right. She has to say just African.
I hate people like that. It's fucking
She's a
stupid.
bitch. Yeah.
It's not offensive to call a black person a black person. They call themselves black people.
Right.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah, you can't say it. And she can't even speak around.
This is stupid. This is why I love hanging out with the friends that we hang out with, because then I'll just say words like, that black guy. And
they're like, who? Which guy are you talking about?
I didn't notice, except I'm supposed to notice.
The black guy who you just did. Oh, Roger.
When I bring up stuff like this to them, you know what they say 100% of the time before their rebuttal? Ian, it's complicated.
Yeah, Ian.
It's complicated.
Their race?
Well, anything. If you talk about transgender or anything like that, race, gender, anything, they're like, it's complicated.
Yeah, and
that's
we
why
know,
I can't be one of them. It's too complicated.
Yeah, we both know. We know one black guy who has really, to his credit, exploited his role as being that one black guy.
Oh, I know.
I know.
And
the
fact that he comes from money.
It's funny.
Is also hilarious.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Right?
Yeah. So it's you're right. It's just a manipulation of language, a perception of reality, and the trusted sources they're talking about is exactly what I was talking about a moment ago.
It's why people don't trust the trusted sources anymore, because you fucking people do this shit.
Right. And there's a clip I played multiple times from a couple of years ago at Davos where they said they don't trust the elites anymore. The elites of the world are all united, more united than ever before, but the people of the world don't trust the elites and the authorities. And so we need to get our message into the mouths of trusted local sources, because we've done all these studies that say trusted sources get the information off.
There's a local church leader here who's in a lot of trouble because he's been bringing a lot of LGBTQ stuff into, Andy Stanley?
No.
Anyways, so he's been getting a lot of grief for it. Now, I have no evidence of this, but I do know that there's a lot of money going around right now to church leaders like this. People are meeting with them, going, "Hey,
they
we
get
could help you
grants.
build that new building. We could do this thing. Da, 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 da. All you got to do is like bring in the LGBTQ pride stuff."
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing.
That's exactly.
And it's not that I'm against gay people or anything like that. It's about this. They're using that as a front to like the mafia would, to worm their way in.
You want some protection? Huh?
Yeah,
Let's get a gay black person out front, okay? Then you get a little protection.
Yeah. And we know that's what they're doing, so fuck them.
It's like when a theater that we know received a substantial grant.
Yeah, and didn't use it for that.
They didn't. I thought they did some shows. The grant was to promote the vaccine and get people.
Well,
signed up.
that one. Yeah, the grant was for sketches.
They didn't do sketches.
Shows
That was the grant. It was a promise of doing sketches and getting people signed up for the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so that's getting it into the local theaters. They want to get it to
Non-profit.
Everybody. Yeah, the
non-profit. I love that. It's like, no, everyone's profiting. They're like, no one goes and does anything unless they're going to profit.
Yeah, like Catholic. So JC, exactly. Catholic priest says, or Catholic priest, excuse me, JC, I just called you a Catholic priest.
Yes.
JC says, like the Catholic priest that got busted.
That's exactly right.
From the Eric Adams investigation. What was the story behind that, Ian?
Well, no, he's talking about this a Catholic priest that was being influenced to inject all this stuff into his,
Right. Exactly.
into his church.
And you know, of course they're going to do that. Can you imagine you if you're like the CIA or the FBI and you're able to capture the priest of a church that has a lot of influence, maybe some influential politicians go there, and you get to be able to go into the confessional room with them. You get all their secrets, and you get to give them advice that is up there with God's advice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who you want to capture right there. And the school teachers, they want to capture all the local leaders. Also, you look at the AJC here. AJC, they're in the van with Hillary, with Kamala and Walls, and they are just saying the same thing that the national news says, just from a local voice. And they get a grant, or they get money from the Google News Initiative, from all these global initiatives that are working with the government to straighten out local news. We'll support you, and you'll be able to survive local news as long as you are our trusted local source. Your grandmother might be getting a grant, is all I'm saying. See what the next one is. Yeah, watch out for grandma when she starts promoting a bunch of bullshit.
In the election arena, as I mentioned briefly, what they're doing in a variety of states is they're just trying to counter every bit of nonsense that's put out there about elections. So in Michigan, for instance, there was a campaign saying that you couldn't vote if you didn't have X, Y, and Z. And the Secretary of State simply took that, put false on it in big red letters, put that out on the internet. Okay? So in other words, what we're engaged in here is sort of a constant process of pushing back on the disinformation, whether it's in the health area where public health officials had to confront this and deal with this, or in elections or wherever. And it all boils down to using trusted communicators in the community, because otherwise people are going to say, oh no, that person over there in Washington, don't trust them, I don't trust the New York Times, etc.
Etc. And so this connects with the censorship in that they're trying to get the people to censor you. Yeah.
Why are we so concerned with the source of the information
instead of
as
the
opposed
content?
to the fucking information?
You're right. And they're about to talk about news literacy in a second, which is going to just make kids really stupid. And they want not only kids, but they want adults taking news literacy classes.
Why I only read the olds, Brad. That's my favorite joke about the news. It's the olds.
Trusted people, government assets. Yeah. And this whole, like you pointed out, Ian, the content, because they're trying to manipulate the sources.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we don't want to get too big because we don't want any of these people coming to us, and all of a sudden I show up one day on the show and I'm wearing a Pride shirt. And you're like, Ian, what's with the Pride shirt? And I'm like, I've always been this way.
Right. And I'm like, oh, that's a funny joke, and you're very serious about it.
Very serious about it. So we don't want to get that big.
Yeah. For that, if you're wearing that shirt, I'm like, Ian, how much did they give you? Because it has to be substantial.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they would have to pay me a lot of money. I mean, millions.
And with that in mind,
no, that's not true. I'd do it for probably 10,000.
10,000. Come on,
then I'll come on and
price has got
apologize.
to be higher than that.
I'm a whore. Why don't we start a GoFundMe? Let's start a GoFundMe to get me in a Pride shirt. And
I mean, Ian, you were gonna wear a White Dudes for Harris shirt if I would have had another one the other day. So
I was so embarrassed about it. I'm so glad that shirt didn't fit me.
All right, I've gotten comfortable in it.
And by the way, I remember many years ago in my youth, this is exactly how health authorities sold the local polio campaign. Like then there was a big effort to spread polio vaccinations. And I remember Sunday after church, like almost everybody in our church went to the local school to get vaccinated for polio. So they did exactly what a lady was talking about. Like even in today's era where we don't trust a lot of people, there still are local organizations churches, synagogues, and elsewhere that are trusted. And so kind of relying on those people to deal with these efforts matters.
So they did the same thing with polio they did with COVID, and when they did retroactive research and they exposed some of the truth about that, they lied about most of the polio statistics in the same way they did about COVID, just to get people to shut up and take the vaccine. It's just interesting how open these people are about talking about manipulating your local trusted sources, because they know
they're doing it for your
it's
own
your own
good.
good.
It's for your
Of
own
course.
good.
It's your own good.
You guys, you got to remember, you're a fucking idiot. You have to
of
remember
course.
that.
Yeah.
You're a fucking idiot. You
Yeah.
couldn't possibly deal with the actual information and make your own informed choice.
I'm no Fauci.
You're no Fauci.
Yeah.
Yeah. How dare you even think that you couldn't
I'm in
even
the same league as
You're not
Fauci.
even worthy to lick Fauci's shoe. Okay?
I wouldn't try. I mean, I get shot getting near that shoe unless I was a black guy whose door he was knocking on.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so yeah, you're an idiot. That's what I love. That's what I love. I love the phrase like they vote against their own best interests. Oh, you're that's just a long way of you calling someone a fucking idiot.
Right. And so this type of thing right here, I think that I see this and you see this, and people outside of other influence see this as, wow, it sounds like you're just trying to manipulate people by other means. But when
Maybe
you
that's what's causing the distrust.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what's causing the distrust. But you brainwash people like the people we talk to, and they see this at this point, and they think, yes, exactly. We have to get through to these other people who they believe are brainwashed by facts and history, I guess.
I work with people every day. I work with people who are upset, happy, all kinds of stuff, right? All kinds of customers. I sell, anyways, you know why people come back to me and keep buying stuff from me?
Because of trusted sources?
Because I'm transparent about information. And
Yeah.
even the bad stuff, I go, listen, I know you want to hear this, but here's the truth, and I'm the only guy that's going to tell you that.
You
Why
don't
we do
say
business? Why don't we do
sources from the
business?
New York Times say that you're full of shit.
Yeah. I say, why don't we do business? And they go, wow, no one's ever actually told me the truth about how this works before. I want to do business with you.
Right.
Like, it's really easy. You just fucking be transparent and matter of fact with people.
And the question, which you pointed out earlier, is what are they giving the local sources? What is their number? Or what do they have on them to get them to play ball with this?
Yeah.
Let's see where they are here.
One of the things that
they've
we
got
learned.
one of the corruptible things that you've brought up in the past. Sorry to keep cutting you off.
No, you're good.
You talking about how what the intelligence agency looks for, something financial,
Right.
sexual.
It's called
or
MICE,
some kind
I think,
of
is the
addiction.
acronym.
Yeah. There's like an acronym for it. So they probably employ the same techniques with these people.
Yeah.
Maybe not blackmail per se. Instead of blackmail, why don't we facilitate one of these things for you?
Yeah, right. We're talking about what intel agencies look
I noticed you
to
like Bentleys.
compromise people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed you like
or
Bentleys.
You got
I noticed, hey,
pictures.
that's a nice watch.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You're a gambler. You're in debt. There's pictures of you cheating on your wife
Yep.
or something, or they've
Yep.
Set something up.
COVID, which we talk a little bit about in the book, is when something is brand new, right? When a phenomenon is brand new, I mean a pandemic, right? Nobody was alive in America who had been alive in the flu pandemic in the early
So this is
20th
them
century.
justifying the
When
things they
something
got
is
wrong
brand
early
new,
on, even though they told everybody to follow them.
Even the officials make mistakes.
All right, so that clip's pretty basic. They're basically preempting any question about, well, what about all the things they got wrong? She's like, well, nobody knows, but you know what? You insisted people do stuff despite not
And
knowing.
I'll tell you what, fair is fair. All of those people who made mistakes, we can forgive them as soon as they absolve all of the people that you ruined the lives of who pointed out your mistakes.
Right. Exactly.
As soon as you
Who you
make
tried
them
to-
whole again,
who you
as soon
s-
as you make them whole
right.
again, we will forgive you.
People who lost their jobs for not following your rules that turned out to be mistakes.
I'm Scott Campbell with the Campbell Family Foundation out of Chicago. The question, just a little
Sit
bit of a
down.
follow-up, would be, when you learn like about the COVID pandemic that you have, you learn along the way, but do you not also have the possibility of the
Nice sweater.
institutions being captured institutions by
great
industry and that creating a problem. For example, nothing was said on going outside.
It's a great
vitamin
question
D,
that doesn't get answered.
comorbidity, the age gradient on the vaccine, which all these were known very early in the pandemic. The people in Italy dying with the scary pictures were mostly 80-plus-year-olds with very low vitamin D and so forth. And so the trusting, I mean, and maybe because you're sort of a
Listen to
left-wing
the
institution
answers.
that therefore you're going to sort of have a bias toward believing the public institutions, but it just seems there's a lot of problem with the influence on the information that was coming out on the pandemic, the fact that they want 75 years to release the data, that they cut off the trials because they thought they weren't going to. But then, of course, you can't find what's going to happen 2 and 3 years because you cut them off. I just wonder if you had some comment on that, not the truly new information, but just the compromised of those some institutions.
So this guy's probably dead. They probably killed this guy.
Yeah.
He's older. He's wearing his whatever this shirt. He probably had to get. He probably wore that shirt just.
He
to
got
get
hit
in.
by a bus crossing the street after this was over.
Yeah, basically saying, are you a captured? What about the pharmaceutical companies?
Yeah.
What about all the bullshit?
Yeah.
And here's the answer to that.
Yep. And just to add on to what you said, in our book, we tried to be even-handed in identifying disinformation from across the political spectrum. We did not just look for disinformation coming from conservative sources. And one of the things I found interesting on the COVID example is, people are often focused on the anti-vaccine community as a source of disinformation, but interestingly, we found there were very liberal entities that actually shared certain views with the anti-vaccine community. For example, the yoga community.
The yoga
Often
community.
In the yoga community, those
All
are
the
people who prefer
that were
holistic
behind
medicine,
RFK
herbal
who are
remedies,
now voting
versus,
MAGA.
Big pharma, like many of the things you were just talking
Let's
about.
tell you
They
wraps it up
shared
here.
those views. But on their websites, they then would promote remedies that the FDA would either had already or later would identify as fake remedies. And the FDA ended up taking a lot of enforcement actions against websites that were advertising and selling herbal remedies that were not shown to be effective. But that really came across the political spectrum. It was not just conservatives that were targeted, but conservative and liberal organizations. Yeah, there's a question right there.
Next
on
question. Okay, next question. Does it sound like he answered the question
Didn't
at all to
answer
you?
a fucking thing.
What a cocksucker.
He just talked long enough and boring enough for us to forget what the damn question even was.
That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. All right. I know you got to run soon. I think I got one more for you.
Yeah, man.
And we can wrap it. Isn't this interesting just how full of shit these people are? And this is a 100-year-old think tank here. Very influential think tank. I think this is where they start talking about news literacy, I think. Let's see here.
So we have another question from one of our online viewers, Mary Beth, and Elaine, I will direct this to you. It concerns high school civics and government classes. And she wants to know, are high schoolers today being taught how to determine the quality of the news sources that they are reading or watching?
It's a good question. In some school systems, not all, because as you know, schooling is very decentralized in the United States. High schoolers are being taught news literacy courses.
Of course.
And the news literacy basically teaches them to read a newspaper online because, of course, today's young people would never read a newspaper in paper. That's uncool. They read them online. But to look for sort of sources, okay, who are the sources?
Look for the
in this
sources,
story?
of course.
How many sources
How
are
many?
there?
How many anonymous
are these
sources?
People real people, or are these somebody
Or are
that
they
nobody's
anonymously
ever heard of?
trusted?
Do they really hold this job? There's other ways to check that.
So
on
these
the
kids
internet.
are all like, well, the New York Times
where
is just bullshit.
Is what you're reading is
Well, that's what you
all
would
these
think.
kids are discovering what bullshit the legacy media is.
You would think.
Is the newspaper you're reading, is it actually a real newspaper?
Or is it
No,
alternative?
it's
Does it
one of
actually
these fake
exist
ones
day
that just
after day
regular
and
people
publish?
made.
Right. Does it exist day after day? So this is how they're training kids to analyze media. It's just a source that you have seen before.
Yeah, does it exist day after day?
Right.
You know,
like Big
stories
Brother.
Yeah, exactly.
about and have weather reports.
Does it have weather reports? So
Although-
let's start doing weather reports, Ian, so we can be trusted. Let's get a weather person.
Although I think the left is creating Big Sister. It feels a little bit more like Big Sister to me because I have a big sister, and it's
That's a
feeling
good
a little
point.
bit like my
Yeah.
big sister's been left in charge.
Big Brother is now.
Big Brother's much more physically
He's much
violent.
gayer. He's much gayer.
Much, yeah.
He's just leaving Big Sister in
and all
charge.
the other things that are in newspapers.
I mean, isn't that crazy? This is news literacy. Does the source you're getting the information from, do they do do they do weather reports? I mean, she literally said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Or
you
is-
know, the weather is, that's how you can tell.
It's so accurate.
That's what the weather reporting is what sets these
Trust the
institutions
weather.
apart from one another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't trust any publication that doesn't have a weather guy who gets it wrong
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Or they or girl,
Is
excuse
this
me.
something that the person sending out the disinformation made up to make you think it's a real news story?
Right, of
There's
course.
whole
David
courses taught
Pakman.
in this.
Yeah.
University of New York at Stony Brook was one of the first people many years ago, 15 years ago, to teach news literacy courses, and they then have been spreading these throughout the country
thank God.
in high school
Thank
classes.
God for
So
stupefying them.
Spreading
it
them,
is going
infecting.
on. Obviously, it's not going on everywhere, and people who are interested in this
All right.
should encourage their high schools, their local high
Yeah,
schools,
to make kids
adopt
stupid.
one of the many. There's now many. of
So
these, many news literacy courses for the students.
Okay, so now this is the kicker right here is this guy's response to this.
And I'll let you mention news literacy. Actually, hold on. I just
Actually,
have a follow-up
shut
question
up,
because
slave, is what
somebody
I got
from the
you on.
Australian embassy asked
Was that
what
the guy in
is
the
a
sweater
logical follow-up
talking
of your
again?
question. This person
Notice somebody from the Australian embassy asked a question that he's pulling up here. It's interesting that he pulled that up after he shut that. Probably that
God,
guy
that
in the
looks like a
sweater down.
nightmare place to live during the pandemic. Holy
bet.
shit.
Look at the book too. It just says kill.
Kill. Kill the
And it's about disinformation. All you can see is kill.
We're gonna moiter that disinformation.
And it's red. It's very violent.
Come here,
asked about digital literacy programs and how effective are they at disrupting the spread of disinformation?
Oh, we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
I mean, we don't know. that.
No, so we don't know. We don't know how effective they are.
We're
And-
still doing the weather.
Right. Yeah, the weather's perfect. And now she says that, and then he says this.
It's all too new, etc. And remember, we're at a point where the technology is really outpacing our way of looking at things.
Okay, well, he
So
says
this
this
book
here.
is fucking bullshit.
It's bullshit. But here's his response.
And the only quick footnote I would add to what Elaine said is schools are making a much more serious effort to teach digital literacy, but we can't limit it to 10 to 18-year-olds. Like adults have a problem with
adults have a
disinformation as
problem.
well. We need adult education that does exactly the same thing.
Oh, does it work? We don't have any idea. We need adult re-education.
But I mean, it's better than doing nothing. We got to do something.
I mean, this. Do they not know what they're saying?
You know what? These very smart people are fucking idiots. They are.
Yes.
They're probably very smart. I'm sure they are, right? They're very skilled.
They can
at
take a
writing
test very well.
papers, and they
Yeah.
can take a test very well. But they're also. I don't think it takes a lot of IQ to do what those guys are doing. I really don't. The older I get, the more I'm convinced that a lot of dumb people get very important jobs.
I think you have to have a certain level of naivete to get some of these jobs because you'll keep your mouth shut or lack of morals.
Yeah.
To know because you can't be an intelligent person and think that what she said.
Corruptibility is an asset in the public world.
Totally. Yeah, failing up, as Forrest Mommy said. Great test takers. So, all right, that's what I wanted to show you, Ian. We have a couple more clips of this we can play next week. But
Okay.
What's your takeaway from everything we discussed?
Are you gonna have me
today?
pick a card?
Yeah. Oh,
Are you
can
doing
you
a
see
magic trick?
Yeah. Pick a
Yeah,
card.
have pick.
Any card. What? Tell
That
me
one.
what card
That
you're
one.
picking.
That one. Right there.
Let's see.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
you
that
got
one.
it. The
Yeah.
Joker.
Hey, Joker's
There
wild,
you go.
everybody.
Joker's wild. That's
Joker's
the trick.
wild.
Yep. Yeah, so great job.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some other ones. What were you saying? I cut you off.
I was gonna say, what are your takeaway thoughts from everything we talked about?
I'm frightened to death of Democrats staying in power, mainly because of the speech issues. That's my main thing. More than anything else, I'm absolutely terrified of that, and I want to keep my guns. I want to buy more. As a matter of fact, I like buying guns.
Yeah. You think that Kamala will take them away? She'll use them herself?
Because this is what if I open carried at one of those events? No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Dude,
But
yeah.
No, I couldn't
I mean,
do that.
but that
These people
thought
get
though.
so
So
freaked out.
in Georgia,
Hey, look
it's
at me.
legal to open carry,
I know. Yeah, we have constitutional carry here.
but
You can
going
conceal
to those
carry, too. You can
events,
conceal carry here too. You don't have to have a permit.
you don't even have to be wearing a cowboy hat.
Mm-mm.
But going
the
anywhere
way it was
near those
meant to be.
events, I have my gun with me, but I didn't have it on my hip when I was going to try and get into the waltz thing with Jocelyn Josh the other day. It's the last thing you want because you're going to get patsied for some.
Yeah, no, I that's my main thought. Is every time I see that relationship, and it's not just. This is not just only a danger on the left. The right did this as well. when
Oh,
they
of
started
course, they
passing.
did.
They'll do it too.
Yep.
And that's my biggest issue is when people start talking about things you can and can't say, and they get afraid of words and ideas. That's so bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people doing it are the people trying to gain power.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah,
No
you,
one
you
else.
don't have people who are just everyday people. Leave me alone, but I'll take your fucking guns. They don't. They just people want to be left alone. They know that that's the way that you protect yourself. It's like Tesla. Tesla wanted everybody to have nuclear bombs so that it would be a constant Mexican standoff, and we either all die or none of us die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stoner says, where I'm from, you can take my gun from my cold, dead hands to boating accidents. Don't get any boating accidents.
Yeah.
It's very authoritarian. Absolutely. Smash that like button, you filthy animal. Thank you, Stoner. Thank you guys for hanging out and chatting and watching. Ian, thank you for joining me again. As always, I enjoyed it. And thanks for going to the White Dudes for Harris, or pretending to be a white dude for Harris with me. That was a lot of fun.
Dude, anytime. We're going to hopefully have many, many more of those.
Yes, I hope so too. Yeah, we've got a couple events on the calendar.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward, so we'll do that. So at Freedom Act Radio on X. Ian, do you want to promote where you are on
Yeah,
X?
you can check out Reginald V. Actor. I'm doing some fun stuff on there. Go check it out. That's where I'm at right now.
That's who I modeled my
on
White Dude
X.
for Harris after is Reginald.
Yeah,
V.
it's
Actor.
amazing. I say things as jokes, and within a month, they're actually saying them.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I go look. I'll be like, how would a gay progressive say this? And I'll go to Ian's account. Reginald V. Actor, and I'll be like, okay, there it is, right there. You'll get some likes too. You'll get a few.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when someone on the right starts going after me, and I get
It's
to get into
funny.
a troll exchange.
Yeah, it's very funny. So YouTube.com/Brad Binkley until it
Men
gets
can
removed.
have babies, but I don't believe in abortion. That was Reginald's stance. All right, sorry. Go with your
No,
plugs.
you're good.
Go with
You're
your plugs.
good.
Go with your plugs.
A prop report on Rumble and Rockfin and propaganda report on your podcast apps. Thanks again, guys. We will talk to you guys next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.